Hello. So I wanted to make a compilation of videos to tell my story. Um, I'm sick of explaining to people why I left the LDS Church, and so I want to make these so I can just hand out cards and say, if you want to know, go look. So I'm not comfortable giving out my name. So for those who know me, please respect that. It's going to be a long, I'm assuming, several videos, so stay tuned. This is the first time I've ever done something like this. When I was young, I always had the influence of the church in my family, and I got baptized when I was 8. I remember very fond memories of that day. I remember receiving a key, which I carried years and years and years later, all the way into my 20s. From 8 years old to 20, I carried that key. It was a little key with a red, blue, and yellow ribbon on it. I also... There we go. I also remember getting a brown Bible and a Book of Mormon in a red case. I grew up in a family where we did family home evenings, and we were very active. I had a lot of pressure to go on a mission from an early age, and I am just unsure about all the things that have happened over the years, and I digress. But I was inactive. I tried skipping church any way I knew how, from faking a sickness to walking home after my parents would drag me there. I remember one Sunday my father came down and said, "Son, what are you doing with your life?" And I thought for a minute. He said, "You're knocked down in the ring, and Satan is beating you up." I used to box, and so that really hit me deep, and I thought, what am I doing? Being at that age, what's expected of me? A lot. So I decided to try. And no dice. I think a lot of problems come from the expectations of pressure at that age. Mental illnesses, guilt, discovering sin and not understanding it. I had a friend one day when I was in junior high. Trigger warning for those, you've been warned. My friend, he cleared out his locker and said goodbye to all of his friends and gave away his stuff. And I saw him walking home by himself, and I ran up to him, and this was before I even knew him. And I put my arm around him and said, "Dude, why are you walking all alone?" And he opened up and told me that he was going to take his life about 40 minutes after he got home. And I asked him why. And it may sound stupid for those who are not LDS, but the LDS Church puts a lot of emphasis on sexual sins. And he was masturbating. It sounds really stupid, but he thought that the only way was to kill himself because no one would understand. there's a lot of emphasis on personally, I believe, there's a lot of crap you can put on a kid's shoulders. I was a very interesting LDS kid. I was a typical skipped church, didn't want to go, kind of thing. But I remember being utterly alone, eventually towards high school and things like that. Your friends go on, they get married, they go on missions, they go to college. I was utterly alone. I didn't feel like my family loved me. I didn't know if there was a God. I felt like dying. I really just wanted to end it all. And I remember dropping to my knees after getting as low as I can get, being bullied, growing up, wanting to run away, not knowing what the future had in store for me, if I would ever even live past age 16. Never thought that I would ever grow. And yet here I am. I remember dropping to my knees and just crying, sobbing. And I said, God, if you truly are there, love me, show me I need a friend. And then nothing happened. So I got up, didn't feel anything. And so I continued to go to work. And so I was at the age where I had no idea what direction to take in my life. I wasn't sure what to do. Take that off for the glare. I wasn't sure what to do with my life. And I thought, I have a couple choices. Stay with my girlfriend. Get married. Go on an LDS mission. Join the military. Or go to college. Sorry, I just remembered something. Don't know if I want to get into that though. Dark memory. Anyway, so I had a couple options. And so I was still praying. I said, God, if you're really there, love me, send me a friend, show me guidance. You're supposed to light my way, as you will. So where are you? Do you even care? And so I remember going into the bishop's office, and there was a family, and I won't say real names. I'll just make up names. John and Susan were sitting there, and they told us about a friend of mine, future friend of mine. Didn't know it at the time. They said that he was coming down from another state and that he had nowhere to go, and that he would be staying with them, and they were a few houses down from me. And so I thought, okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay. Not that I need to know the information. I probably wouldn't even ever meet him. Then they told me he worked at the same job I did, that he just got a job. And so I thought, is this revelation? Is this God speaking to me through other people? So I decided to go on a mission. Sorry. So I decided to go on a mission. I go into the bishop's office and I tell him I want to serve. And he sits there and he just laughs at me. You know, and that made me so angry that he wouldn't even take me serious, even though I've been struggling to even try to come to God. And he just sat there and laughed at me. And then he asked when the last time I went to church was, and I said, I don't know. He said, it's been a very long time. He said, how about you come every single day for 9 months? Every single Sunday. And then I'll maybe consider it. And so I left feeling hurt. You know, I felt angry. So I said, whatever. You know, fetch, whatever. Okay. So I carried on throughout the week and went to my work. And then I saw this gentleman, and he fit the description. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, is that so-and-so that the couple was talking about in front of the bishop's office? Were they the ones that told me about my friend? And so I went up and I said, hi, my name is so-and-so. And we introduced each other. And my friend was really, future friend, he was very unsure how to act. Kind of socially awkward, to be honest. He was kind of socially awkward, and so he just, said hi. We didn't really hang out or anything at that point. We just kind of exchanged names and continued our shift. So my friend went along his way. And then a few days later, I wake up and I hear somebody working on a car. And I look down the street and I see him working on his car. And so I head down there and I'm like, dude, my dad has a shop. If you want to, come take a look at it, we drive your vehicle up and we'll jack it up and look at it. And so that's exactly what we did. He drove the car up and we started taking a gander at it. And my dad came outside and said, what are you doing, son? And I said, I'm just hanging with my new friend. And my dad said, okay, met my friend. And my friend turned to me and said, I've never had someone call me a friend before. And I almost cried. It was just the most sad, heartwarming experience that began a friendship. And my friend and I, began our friendship. And so I was not active at that time. Little did I know he just returned from a mission. And so slowly he started working on me. Made me chuckle. So I remember the first time I felt the Spirit in a long time. And it all led up from this moment. And I'll get to it, because it's a core memory of mine, So I remember getting up